Hello YouTube, how's everybody doing? This is SpeedFreak 2010 here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my 2025 Grand Theft Auto 5 Online Garage Tour. First off, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are enjoying your safe spring break. Hope you guys are doing alright. And with that being said, with the Agents of Sabotage DLC over, and all the cars have been released, I figured I'd give you guys an update to my garage car collection. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. But before we actually start, if you have any questions about a certain car, like what's the real life basis of it, what inspired this customization, like what is which car is in slot number garage number 1, spot number 1, 2, 3, etc. Please put them, if you have a specific question, please put them in the comment section below, and maybe with a timestamp or not, and I'll do my best to answer them in the comment section below. But that being said, let's get right into it. First up, we have my favorite car, one of my favorite cars in GTA, the Sabre Turbo, in the style of the OG colors from Vice City, and my personal favorite color is red and white, my signature. Next up, we have my silver twin turbo LG RH8 Nissan GTR, beautiful metallic silver. Next, we have another street car, the Vapid Dominator, the fourth gen Mustang, in the style of the 2011 GT500 Super Snake from Need for Speed The Run in terms of paint job. Next, we have my my metallic yellow and carbon fiber themed 7th gen Corvette, Inventero Coquette, the day 1 Coquette, I should say. And next to that, we have free space, because this, in spot number 5, we have free space. That particular space consisted of 3 different vehicles in its lifespan: a BF Bifta, a Ballista Compact, and now a Dinka Akuma. And keep this in mind, this is my home garage with my apartment, so this is a 2013 to early 2014 apartment, so keep that in mind. Next up, we have my story mode derived Bravado Buffalo S, the iconic, dare I say, mascot of the GTA franchise, Bravado Banshee. My second paint job, Imponte Phoenix, lava red with I believe a race yellow pearlescent, I'm not specific. My 10th car, my second supercar in the style of the Sesto Elemento Lamborghini Pagani Zentorno, and my first supercar, the Gran Turismo R, with both of which having updated customization. On to garage number 2. Garage number 2 consists of cars also from my PlayStation 3 days, from 2014 all the way to the original OG Heist from 2015. First, my Hot Wheels MST Suzuka inspired Dinka Jester, next to my blue and silver Imponte Ruiner. Next, my Grand Theft Auto 3 inspired Mafia Sentinel derived Ubermax Sentinel XS. Next to that, we have my what I call steel wheels, my Carson GT steel wheels inspired Bravado Gauntlet, which is also inspired from the Heist update from the Union Depository if you go for the subtle approach. Next to my very first motorcycle in the Hakuchu, Shizu Hakuchu. Next, we have both the Heist originals in the civilian and armored Kurumas from Karen. Next to my Spyro the Dragon sort of inspired Buccaneer, how I imagine Spyro the Dragon driving his first car if he were a character in GTA Online, or at least if he was crossed over with it. And rounding out this one, we have my black military spec inspired Insurgent, next to the fastest van still for the past 10 years, uh, the Class A gang burrito. So please leave, as always, please leave all questions in the comment section below. And let's move on to garage number 3. My third garage, located in between my arcade, the garment factory, and my auto shop, consists of cars dating back to from around 2017-ish to the Cunning Stunts update for the most part. First off, we have my favorite motorcycle in the Western Nightblade, and this is actually the second paint job it was in. At one point, it was the inverse of my signature colors. It was white in the body, but for the primary, but red for the secondary, where the pipes surrounding the engine were. Now it's got the classic hot rod in gloss black. Love it. Next up, we have my first lowrider, Vappuccino, in my colors, at least interior wise. Definitely worth checking out, at least building a lowrider. Next, my Fast and Furious 1 inspired Imponte Dukes. More specifically, Fast and Furious 1. I count each charger from that series as a different one. My quote-unquote first drift car, the Benefactor Schwarzer. Next to that is probably what may end up as my actual drift car in the Karen Futo, because this one recently got a drift upgrade in the Agents of Sabotage update. Next, another blast from the past in the Sentinel RS in the style of the Subaru Racing livery, next to another street car, the Lampadati Felon Coupe. Next, my first SUV in the Enos Huntley S. Next to a resto modded Corvette in the style of a resto modded Coquette Blackfin, which I believe is a 62 mixed with a, I want to say 60-61 hybrid. I'm not sure. Please let me know in the comments below. And rounding off the Grotti Brioso RA. Now, alright, up to garage number 4. Garage number 4, located here at Marietta Heights, consists of also cars from around 2017, when I switched over from PS3 to PS4. Starting with my beautiful orange and race yellow metallic ProGen T20, next to my favorite car in the class, my R33 lookalike Elegy Retro Custom in the style of a R33 GTR Skyline. Next, we have the Hakucho Drag, the ever-famous HSW pick for those that have a serious need for speed and or possible skin grafts. Next to my first of 2 Aston Martins, the Dubachi 770. Next to my matte black Huracan in the Pagasi Tempesta. Car number 6 is my favorite McLaren of all time, the McLaren F1 GTR Longtail, or aka the ProGen Tyrus. Next to the Emperor ETR1, probably my favorite from the Cunning Stunts update, with inverted colors. Next, my favorite Lamborghini of all time in the Infernus, the Pagasi Infernus Classic, excuse me. Kinda wish we had the roof scoops on the back, that way I can make my personal favorite, the SV, my first sports classic that I ever bought. Next to the second one in the Ferrari F40 in my racing colors. Next, a matte black Lampadati Viserys. And that's gonna do for garage number 3. And now on to garage number 4. My fourth garage is over here off of Greenwich Parkway by the airport, and Los Santos Customs and consists of cars from around 2017-ish to 2018 for the most part. First off, we have my Class A Tampa from Ballad of Gay Tony. Next to that, we have my other Spiral inspired car in the Progen Itali GTB Custom with his metallic purple exterior color with the yellow interior, and a bit of carbon fiber for the wheels. We have my Spy Hunter color inspired Truffaut Nero. At least the black is inspired by the PS2 Spy Hunter car, the first one. Next, we have my urban camo colored Vapid Riata, the Ford Bronco concept before it was released. And next, we have my Gladi X80 Proto in red and white. One of my first stunt cars I ever built. I still, even though it's kind of outdated, I still keep it just because of how out there it is. Next, we have my favorite in this garage, my Miami Vice / Vice City inspired Ferrari Testarossa called the Gladi Classic. Next to that, we have White Cat, named after her license plate. This is the Ocelot XA21. Beautiful sounding car, beautiful drives beautiful. Still wish the real version made it in real life instead of it being a concept. Next, we have yet another Ferrari render that never made it in real life in the Grotti Vision with the glitched iFruit wheels, that the glitched stock wheels that you could paint through the iFruit glitch app, which is not available anymore. Followed by that, we have, I believe this is the 2017 free Christmas car in the Albany Hermes in the style of the Cuban Hermes from Vice City. From Vice City, not Vice City Stories. And next we have a go-to race car of mine in the Overflood R-Tark. One thing I didn't mention in the last three garages, is how I go about creating my cars. Well, to be more specific, the paint jobs. So pretty much like whenever I have a new garage, to keep my garages from being stale, I usually don't repeat a paint job no more than twice. Like for example, my metallic silver Elegy RH8 for my first garage, the GTR. I can only repeat that specific paint job twice in a metallic color. If I wanted to do it, like, I can have it in another silver, but it would have to be like a classic. Otherwise, I would feel that it would be repetitive and like uninspiring, because I've seen other players' garages, and I've seen a lot of them. Some of them lately have been like modded cars and whatnot, duplicated. But for those that have been purchased like legitly and whatnot, as far as I'm concerned, from what I can personally remember, since I've been playing this game since 2013, since day one, a lot of them were just the same color over and over again. It got really boring really quick, so that's how I like to differentiate my garages from everybody else. And also, I don't count livery's paint job as a part of the paint job. So I usually take into account only really the primary paint, the secondary paint, and sometimes, pretty much almost all the time, the pearlescent if it's a metallic color. But anyway, with that being said, let's move on to our office garages. Now, here we are in the first of my 3 office garages. And it just can hold a total of 60 cars total. 20 cars each garage. However, unlike the other 4 garages that we just went through, where I just went from front to back in like an H pattern in the order that those cars were ordered in, these cars I actually reordered. instead of just keeping them the same like in the other 4 garages. So basically, for those that don't know, whenever you put a car in a office garage like this one, it would actually spawn, they would spawn from left all the way to, from right to left. My garage is different to where whenever I would get a new car for each floor, depending on each floor, I would go to the vehicle management section right here, and I would move them from left to right. So starting off with my Camacho, this would be the first car I bought for my office garage, followed by my second in the Ocelot Pariah, my silver Comet SR, my blue Mamba, I believe the Class A Mamba, my Dale Earnhardt Sr. inspired Sabre Turbo, Hot Ring Sabre, and followed by yet another GTA 3 reference, another Mafia Sentinel in the style of the Ubermax Sentinel Classic. Next floor, and these are all the cars that I have bought. Some of these, and yeah, pretty much all these cars I bought off of the websites. Next up is my GTX Dominator, which I still kind of keep, even though it kind of sucks. It's got good grip, but it has no top speed whatsoever. Could have been better. My Flash GT Sports Car Rally Racer. My Hot Rod Blazer that I basically just bought for free because it was free when I had purchased it. My Mark IV Toyota Supra, which actually got a drift upgrade, which actually disables the awful handling flags. Another go-to stunt racer in the Trufied Nero Custom. Another muscle car from my collection, the stock car Pisswasser Dominator, which is actually used to be a dominant sports car in the muscle cars class for the longest time, having good top speed and handling. And next up we have the Chameleon in my, what I call the Chameleon in my Dubachi Wagner. That one I used to, Chameleon I call because I used to switch the characters, because when I was making videos hanging out with some friends of mine, we would do team racing and we would choose a car to represent our team, and that was the car I would always use, and I never really changed it back. I think nowadays it's the street breed colors from Hot Wheels Highway 35. Anyway, next up we have my civilian based the Class A Impaler, my 2012 2013-ish looks color inspired Pagani Toros, a fast SUV that's under $500,000, but it bounces a lot, so be very careful when driving this thing over bumps. We have another free Christmas car in the Vapid Clique. My Cinder the Dragon color inspired Benefactor Schlagen GT. The only car from the Arena War DLC that I turned into civilian, the Vapid Apocalypse Imperator. This is the closest you can actually get to having the civilian version. Still wish both of them were separate. Second to that is my Cartel Cruiser, my Vapid Cara in the style of the Cartel Cruiser from Grand Theft Auto 3, the gang car. And last but not least, we have Kinda Music's free BF Weevil from the Cayo Perico heist, I believe. I'm not entirely too sure. That's gonna do it for office garage number 1. Let's go to garage number 2. Garage number 2 is pretty much the same deal as the last one. My first garage being moved from right to left, and the order is basically left to right. Starting with my Gauntlet Classic here. This one's in the style of the black Chevrolet Chevelle from Driver 1 from Miami. Next to that is probably my favorite car in this entire garage, my Gauntlet Hellfire. A lot of fun. Next, my metallic blue Ubermacht Rebel GTS. Which is a solid car, decently powerful, good grip. Lacks HSW upgrade, but it's still fun. This is practically the closest thing we're gonna get to having a Jeep Trackhawk in this game. Next up, we have probably my second favorite, the Albany VSTR, aka the third gen Cadillac CTS-V. Wish it had a supercharger. Next, we have the Coquette D10, aka the current generation Corvette, the 8th gen. And next, we have the first car that I won off of the podium in the Classy DR1 IndyCar. What makes this garage different than the previous is that this garage is a mix of cars that I bought while simultaneously being mixed with cars that I won from the Lucky Wheel from the Diamond Casino, such as the Lampadati Tygon here, which is what I won from the Lucky Wheel. Beautiful car. Next to that, we have my Dinka Ballista Conjo in the style of a blue Type R, or more specifically, Pizza Boy from Twisted Metal 4. Next up, we have another Honda Civic from 2016 in the style of a silver Type R edition, at least customization wise. Next, we have the Nissan LM race car from, I believe, Group C. I believe it's a R390. I could be mistaken. Please let me know in the comment section below. I tend to forget this a lot. Next up, we have my beautiful red Alfa Romeo Giulia, the Lampadati Komoda, next to my Obey 8F Drafter. Wish it had a bit more speed, in my opinion. And next we have my Crash Team Racing colored Vito Kart Classic. And for the final floor, we are going to do, this is from the Diamond Casino heist. First off, we have my Beater Dukes in the style of a resto modded car, more specifically the Ion Motors Thresher from Fast and Furious Homecoming, or at least my version of it. Next we have the excuse me. Next we have my San Andreas inspired Karen Sultan Classic, which is the fastest of the Karen Sultans, the Karen Sultan Classics, faster than the RS from the Tuners update from the Diamond Casino heist. We have the Penumbra FF from, I believe, the Summer Special, the second gen Eclipse, next to the Pagazzi Sorosso, the Ital Design 01. Looks pretty good. Actually, it looks good without the top. Pretty decent car to drive. Next, we have the next three are my go-to race cars: my Pro-Gen Emirates, McLaren Senna, my sports car, the Itali RSX for stunt racing. Despite its supercar looks being a Ferrari SF Stradale, this is actually a sports car, and I highly suggest you win this off the Lucky Wheel and try instead of buying it, because trying to get the trade price is too much of a hassle, and the buy it now price, you're paying over $3 million for a sports car. And last but not least, my muscle inspired the Class A Yosemite. Kind of wish it didn't necessarily have airbags, in my opinion, but I'm not really complaining. And with that, that's gonna end garage number 2. Now to go on to my favorite garage in this office, my tuner's garage. Now my Alright, now my tuner's garage consists of cars from pretty much the 2021 tuners update. The only difference is the last being the last three cars when we get up to the top floor, but we'll get there. First off, we have the first car that I ever won from the prize ride, the Honest Remus, the Nissan S13. Next to the Nissan 300Z, or the Honest Euros as it's called, in the style of a Nismo version. We have the Audi, we have this Audi sedan. I believe it's a Audi S3, S5 sedan, the one that Santa uses, the Tailgater S. You have the Toyota Celica in the Calico GTF. Really good car for racing. High acceleration, good top speed. Suffers from understeer because of its all-wheel drive, so keep that in mind. We have the RT3000 in GTA, the Dinka RT3000, aka the Honda S2000. Decent, but it's gonna get outran. And next we have one of my favorites, the Comet S2, in the style, mine being derived from the Porsche, the 1996 to 1998 Porsche 911 Turbo S, the 993 generation, from Need for Speed High Stakes. Next, we have my Jester RR, taking two SEMA builds and putting them together in terms of the hood, the trunk, and the body kit. Next up, we have my resto-modded Dominator GTT in the style of a resto-modded Boss 302 Mustang from, I believe, 69 or 1970. Next to that, we have probably my favorite, the Vapid Dominator ASP, mixing the hood and spoiler of that of a GT with the body kit of that of a Celine Mustang of that year, around that time period. Next, we have my 24/7 Hot Wheels inspired Honest 350Z, Honest ZR350, excuse me, which also has a drift upgrade. Next, we have a beautiful pearl white-ish Lexus RCF, the Emperor Vector as it's called in game, next to its predecessor, the Karen Previon Coupe, and Lexus SC400 due to it having a V8. And second to last, is my Pfister Growler in the style of a Porsche Cayman GT4, I believe. And last, and definitely, I wouldn't say least, but not necessarily noteworthy in my personal opinion, rounding off the tuners collection, is my Ubermacht Cypher. And that's going to do it for all the tuners class. Now, as for my Empante Ruiner ZZ8, should have been renamed Phoenix, Honest 300R, and the Honest FR36 Coupe. All of these cars after the Ubermacht Sentinel I put in here because I personally believe that these cars could have been put in the tuners class / should have, in my personal opinion. The only exception being my Baller ST from my agency. I moved that over here because I have some cars from other garages that have missile lock-on jammers that I use to I use the extra space to put my to put them on, because the Baller ST comes from my agency garage, and excuse me, and putting that one in a different garage allows me to put missile lock-on jammers / Imani Tech on all the other cars that come with it. That way I don't have to keep going back and forth. So when I get done with those, I'm gonna put that car back. So with that being said, let's go to the next garage. My next garage really isn't a garage per se, but more like my facility, which is where I keep all of my weaponized vehicles, of which I own 3. The Deluxo that I just drove up here in, my reverse Mach 5, the Deluxo Scramjet, and my Toreador. The latter of which I actually repositioned from my Kosatka submarine to my facility right before I started recording this whole thing. Alright, next up, my agency garage. Okay, now my auto shop garage has 10 cars, and coming from a various mix of DLCs. Starting off with my Willard Eudora taxi cab, or at least the only thing that I did was put a livery on it. The only thing I did was really put a livery on it. Next to my NASCAR Karen Everon Hot Wing. Surprised they don't have I'm still surprised they don't have a better civilian version based off of this model. Next we have the Maibatsu Monstrosity and the Guati Stinger TT. It has a longer name, but I refuse to say it. Both of these cars have HSW upgrades. The Monstrosity is off-roader. Stinger TT is a sports car, and they both have HSW upgrades. They're expensive, but they're fast. Next, we have another Hot Wing, the only one with actual moddable body parts in the Hot Wing Hellfire. Next up, we have the Guati. Oh, what's the name of this car again? The Guati Turismo Omaggio supercar. Solid car, albeit expensive. From the chop shop. From the chop shop. We have the Dominator GT convertible. It's a 2018 Mustang from the front. If a hardtop version of this one ever comes out, don't be surprised if I end up selling this one and replacing that one with this one. Next we have an old Chevy Caprice, the the Class A Impaler LX. This one I built into the style of Sweets, Greenwood from San Andreas. Next up we have another sort of a dream car of mine, Impala SS, or the Class A Impaler SZ. And finally rounding that out is the beautiful Invatero Coquette D1, which is first gen Chevy Corvette. It's a beautiful car. That's gonna do it for the auto shop, and next up we're gonna go to my agency garage. We're on to my second to last garage here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my agency. This empty spot right here. Now this empty spot right here is where my Baller ST from my tuner's garage would be usually put, but since I have a couple of cars with missile lock-on jammers, I'm currently keeping it there. That way I can put the missile lock-on jammers on those other cars, that way in case I need to. Now my first car is my Buffalo STX, which is a Dodge Charger SRT. I say SRT instead of Hellcat because STX, SRT, it just makes a bit more sense. Followed up by the Lampadati Cinquemila, another Maserati Quattroporte, solid coupe, solid sound, solid driving. Next up we have the regular Pfister Astron. The Astron Custom has HSW upgrades, another solid performing SUV. Next up we have the Pegassi Ignis. It's a Lamborghini Sian, which is their hybrid. Next to the Enos Deity, so far the only Bentley I own, a beautiful one. Beautiful one, I might add. Across from there is the SSC Tuatara, better known as the Overflood Zeno in my colors. in red and white with the stripe going down the middle. Next up, we have one of my favorite supercars in the game and my favorite car in this garage, the Bugatti Torero XO. Albeit expensive. The closest, literally, in my opinion, the closest thing we're gonna get to an Aventador until GTA 6 comes out. Next up, we have the Benefactor LM87 race car. Solid. We have a nice old car here. The Bravado Greenwood, in the kind of like in the style of a Men in Black slash civilian slash undercover cop car. Next, we have the Benefactor SM22. This thing is the Sterling Moss version of the McLaren, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, the Sterling Moss edition. And SM22 is named after the driver Sterling Moss, and 722 was his racing number. Down here, this garage is a mix between of cars from the contract as well as Los Santos drug wars. So now we have the off-roader concept truck known as the Class A Drogger. Next to that, we have so far the only modern Camaro, the Vaquero ZL1, the Vaquero ZX, Chevy Camaro ZL1. You have the Western Weaver, cyberpunk-ish bike, named after Keanu Reeves. It's an Arch, for those of you that don't know. That's the name of the manufacturer. We have the Nagasaki Shinobi, aka Kawasaki Ninja 250R, the closest thing we have to a Ninja here. Next, we have the Ocelot Virtue, aka Dr. Friedman's free supercar from the Los Santos drug wars, the first and last dose, the free electric supercar. So play those missions, play the first dose and last dose missions in order to get that car for free. Next, we have the Audi R8, the new Audi R8, the 10F. It's about time we got this. The Ubermacht Reinhardt, which is a BMW Touring 3 Series. We have the Class A Tahoma Coupe and the Tulip M100, both of which I modeled after two of my family members' cars. The Tahoma here being modeled after, looks-wise, my dad's old '79 Cutlass in terms of the paint job, even though it's a '78 Monte Carlo, and the M200 being a old box Malibu I built after my Uncle Nate's Malibu of the same year. He actually had one, except mine has a ducktail spoiler and his never did when I was a little kid. Alright, now to move on to my arenas. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are at my arena with my last set of cars, last 10. First off, my Canis Terminus in the style of Goku, the orange and black, as a tribute to the late Akira Toriyama, who passed away last year. Next up to that is my favorite car in this entire garage, my unmarked Gauntlet Interceptor. The only police car with unique handling, where it actually handles better, instead of the newer ones where it's just the same, where they handle the same as the civilian ones but with just extra engine power. Next, we have the Honest Euros X32, the Nissan 300ZX. Mine doesn't have HSW upgrades because I'm on PS4, but it will get upgrades when I switch over to PS5 whenever that happens. Next, we have the Dominator FX, the Fox Body Mustang 79 to 83, more specifically. The old Vapid Uranus from GTA 4, for those of the description. This is the Vorschlag Hammer from Bottom Dollar Bounties. Yeah, from bottom dollar bounties. Next up, we have the Dinka Chavos from Agents of Sabotage, which is definitely going to be GTA 6 civilian vehicle, a of my personal favorite looking Honda Accord sedan. Next, we have the 5th gen Dodge Viper in the Banshee GTS. Definitely a car I recommend. It's both fast without and with HSW upgrades. Another car I would recommend is the Firebolt ASP from Vapid, the 2nd gen Ford Lightning. Mine in the style of Larry Muller's Jones J450 in terms of paint job from Midnight Club 1. And second to last is my metallic blue Ford Sierra Cosworth, aka the Vapid Uranus Low Speed. And that's gonna do it for this garage. And my second and my final garage, B1, is going to be my newly acquired Coquette D5, which some of you may have seen when I did the customization video on it a couple of days ago. And with that, this is gonna end my garage tour. One thing to know about the Invitero, Bruffy did performance testing on all the cars from the Agents of Sabotage. This car shares the same top speed with the D10, 130.75 miles an hour. So it'll do about 130, but the main difference is the D5 it's much more nimble, and it's about 3 seconds a lap faster when it comes to lap time. So I figured I'd throw that in there. Anyway, that's gonna do it for my 2025 vehicle car tour. So feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy. Feel free to hit the subscribe button if you wish. And as always, let me know what you guys thought of my car collection below. Keep in mind, yes, some of those cars are really, really old. Remember, I've been playing this since 2013. So, yeah, it's been a minute. But as always, I'd love to hear what you guys think of my car collection. What cars you liked, what you didn't like, what would you change, and I'll try to do my best to answer them in the comments below. With that being said, this is Speedfree 2010 signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope y'all stay blessed. Later.